Have you ever felt disappointed after making a great return just because someone else made more or the market made more? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But here's the thing. Constantly comparing your portfolio to others, especially the S&P 500, might actually be making you a worse investor. Today, I want to flip the script on how you think about performance. Because when you understand the difference between absolute returns and relative returns, it can completely reshape your long-term view of investing. Let's dive in. A lot of investors, especially those nearing or in retirement, fall into the trap of comparing their returns to the S&P 500. And when they underperform, they feel like they failed. But here's the truth. Chasing an index like the S&P 500 usually leads to poor outcomes in the long run. So here's the real question. Ask yourself this. Would you rather match an index during a bull market or protect your capital during a bear market? Because you can't have both. Let's quickly define these two terms. Relative return is how your portfolio compares to a benchmark like the S&P 500 index. Absolute return, however, is the actual dollar return your portfolio generates regardless of what the stock market is doing. Now, Wall Street loves to talk about relative performance. Why is that? Well, it gets people moving money around, and every move creates fees, commissions, and more products to sell. It's good for Wall Street. But here's the punchline. Just because you're beating the index doesn't mean you're winning. There's a reason they say comparison is the thief of joy. Let me give you an example. Let's say your boss gives you a brand new car as a bonus. You'd be thrilled, right? I would. Now imagine, you found out everyone else at the office got 2 new cars. Suddenly you feel shortchanged even though nothing about your situation changed. That's the power of comparison. And it's exactly how investors feel even when they're doing great by absolute standards. Wall Street, and let's be honest, social media like TikTok and Facebook capitalize on this trap too. Here's another issue with benchmarking. It encourages investors to take more risk than they should. Most people never stop to ask, what do I actually need my money to do for me? Because here's the truth. The S&P 500 has no taxes. It doesn't take income distributions to finance your ideal retirement lifestyle. It doesn't have to pay for retirement income. No retirement expenses, no vacations, none of that stuff. And it definitely doesn't panic when the stock market drops, like we all can when we're so dependent upon our money to finance our ideal lifestyle in our golden years. Comparing your portfolio to the S&P is apples to oranges and emotionally destructive. Instead of chasing benchmarks, ask this question. What's the purpose of my portfolio? Is it to retire early, to leave a legacy, or to generate consistent income in retirement? When you focus on your personal goals, you naturally gravitate towards something more stable and better risk-aware decisions. And investors who think this way tend to stay calmer and avoid the panic moves that hurt long-term performance. Let's talk about down years. If you made 12% but the S&P made 14%, you might feel disappointed. But why? Wasn't 12% more than enough to meet your goals? Now let's flip that around. If the S&P drops 20% and your portfolio drops 19%, Wall Street says you've outperformed. But are you celebrating? I don't think so. This is where absolute return strategies really shine because they aim to lose less in down markets. And over time, avoiding big losses is far more powerful than chasing big wins. Here's the truth about long-term investing success. You don't need to be the best every year. You just need to avoid being the worst. If you could achieve just slightly above average returns consistently for over 10 to 15 years, you'll likely outperform most of your peers. That kind of consistency, especially generating retirement income, beats short-term performance chasing every time. So here's what I want you to remember. Stop chasing the highest return. Focus on stable, goal-based results. Don't let Wall Street or your neighbor's portfolio dictate how you feel about your own. Instead, save more. Spend intentionally and measure success by your own progress, but not someone else's benchmark. If you want to be a better investor, start by eliminating toxic comparisons, because it's not about what the S&P did this year. It's about what you need your money to do for you, and is your portfolio meeting your goals and generating the revenue you need to live the lifestyle you want to in retirement. Thanks for watching. If this helped you rethink your approach, hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on redefining retirement. We'll see you in the next video.